Baal was the name of the god who was worshipped throughout Canaan and Phoenicia in ancient times. During the Judges period, the practice of Baal worship entered Jewish religious life.
While he's gone, the people get restless. And so they go to Aaron and they say, hey, we want you to make us something that we can worship. And Aaron obliges them. He says, give me the gold from your ears. And he fashions for them a calf. And when the calf is fashioned, the people bow down and worship it. And Aaron says, hey, tomorrow we're going to have a feast to Yahweh. So this is some pretty interesting stuff going on here. And I think it's important for us to pay attention to where the bull was a pagan deity who was worshipped, and they're heading into Canaan, where the bull was also representative of
We do not sacrifice children. The foundation of Satanism is built upon the self and carrying out the devil's work. Hail Satan!
Hail Satan!
Hail Satan!
Hail Satan!
They could do horrible things in the name of Jesus, then I could do wonderful things in the name of Satan.
Majority of my students are Christians, probably 95%. And most of them come from a pretty conservative Christian background. And the science majors are real excited about science, but they're a little terrified to learn about evolution. They come with a lot of fears, a lot of anxieties, they're pretty uncomfortable, and sometimes they're surprised that they're going to actually learn mainstream scientific evolution. And I didn't want to teach evolution because I didn't want to deal with the controversy with the parents and with the students, and it just made me very nervous. And I sort of laugh sometimes when I look 20 years later, here I am speaking about evolution to large audiences of Christians and at Christian year. At some point the transition occurred in that I realized if I can reconcile my faith with my acceptance of evolution, then I need to share that with other Christians to help them sort of bridge that huge gap for some of them.
Florida man who is trying to get even with Florida Republican Governor Ron DeSantis' school book ban by petitioning to ban the Bible.
Of hours of the president potentially using the Insurrection Act of 1807 to help quell a domestic disturbance. That's not what occurred here. They were
Jim,
used
the thing also
to create. Walk over to a church and pretend to be concerned about the church. It's just a sad.
It's like in some small country.
The couple prayed silently at the shrine and also in the chapel, but this was a prelude to the release of his executive order on advancing international religious freedom. But the real question is, why would a Protestant president of a Protestant United States of America, a country without a pope, a country without a king, the Constitution being civil, upholding civil and religious liberty, be seen bowing and praying at a Catholic shrine? Or is it that Trump is making sure that the Pope at the time sees that the image is now formed and the next step of enforced Sunday worship will be carried out?
We live in an era now where the Bible is fast becoming dispensable and unappreciated. Just like the French Revolution of old, its moral wisdom is being neglected and its precepts unwanted. Friends, you are being desensitized into accepting the ways and the rituals of the beast. That is why it's so openly done and accepted in our society today. So when the Sunday law is fully implemented into law with all its extended attributes, with all the deception that's coming behind it, we would have already been desensitized into accepting the Sunday law. Bible in Revelation 13 speaks about a beast that will once again rule the earth. Now we did so by employing a day of worship. I won't be going into the intricacies of things now, but it is interesting to know, friends, that this beast is the papacy or Roman Catholicism, and the day he employed for worship is Sunday, which is officially for Satan to counteract the Sabbath, Saturday, which God has instituted or set up. Now, to get this law fully back into effect, a catalyst has to be used to initiate it, and the catalyst that is being used is climate change. Friends, it will soon be declared globally into law that we need to rest on Sundays to care for the environment to stop global warming. Now, it is not far-fetched as we can see now. John 14:29. I've told you these things before it come to pass, that when it come to pass, ye might believe. Believe me, friends, it is even at the door. Be prepared.
In the face of wildfires in France, the government may be turning to increased law enforcement to crack down on the root problems. The country's interior minister proposing 3,000 so-called green police to tackle the issue of climate change. The objective is to address criminal activity that poses a threat to the environment, specifically when it comes to wildfires. Local officials say 9 out of 10 blazes in France are caused by human activity, something those on the scene say can potentially be avoided. Every day, we are fighting the same battles on the same grounds. It's becoming quite difficult to cope with. The fires are resulting in over 10,000 people being evacuated from their homes this month alone, and are prompting a continent-wide response from countries who fear that they too may need help in the future. The European Union earlier this summer calling for a unified force to battle the effects of climate change with resources from all of its members, with the latest deployment heading to France.
Firefighting teams from Germany, Poland, Austria and Romania are on their way to support French first responders via the mechanism.
The creation of the EU mechanism is criticized as being a power grab by those in Brussels, looking to further exert their influence on the policies of individual states. But in the face of danger, any help is appreciated. And although the creation of the Green Police in France is only in its infancy, residents are already wondering what kind of power the agents will have to impose the government's will in the name of protecting the environment. In Rome, for Newsmax, I'm N.S.L.